My name is Emily Parker. I'm 32 years old, married to Michael for 7 years, and we have 2 beautiful children, Noah, who's 5, and Chloe, who just turned 2. Our home, though not a mansion, has always been a warm place. A safe haven where every corner holds a memory, a laugh, a baby's cry, or a love note stuck on the fridge. But that peace, the harmony I fought so hard to build with Michael, it all began to crack the day Donna, his mother, moved in with us. It started as a temporary arrangement. That's what she said. The apartment she lived in with her second husband was sold abruptly. And since he decided to move back to California alone, yes, he just left her. She had nowhere to go. Michael, being the good son he is, didn't hesitate to offer our guest room. "It's just for a few weeks, babe, just until she gets back on her feet," he said casually. I wanted to believe that. I really did. But Donna showed up with 5 suitcases, 2 trunks, 3 grocery bags, and a cat that hates children. And with her came the rules. Her rules. At first, I tried to be patient. The woman was going through a rough patch. I was understanding. I prepped her room with fresh flowers, cleared out space in the closet, even cooked rosemary chicken, her favorite, or so I'd heard. But after just 1 week, I started to feel like a guest in my own home. Donna began correcting everything, from how I seasoned the food to the way I folded the kids' clothes. If I served vegetables for dinner, she'd make a face and whisper, "To Michael." Back in my day, a woman who couldn't cook right would lose her husband in no time. And him, he'd hear it, give an awkward chuckle, and pretend nothing happened. I'd shoot him a look like, "Are you really going to let her say that?" But Michael would just shrug. "She's my mom, Em. She's just sensitive right now." Sensitive? She criticized my parenting, my routine, even my career. I'm a graphic designer and work from home. She said being on the computer all day wasn't a real job, and that my children needed a mom who was fully present, not just some floating soul. By the 3rd Saturday of her stay, I hit my limit. I got up early as usual to set up breakfast. When I walked into the kitchen, Donna was already there. Table set, pancakes made, scrambled eggs, fresh juice. At first glance, it looked like a kind gesture. But then, as we all sat down, she said loud and clear, "See, Noah? This is how a real mother does it. She gets up early, cooks with love, not just sits in front of a screen drawing cartoons." That one stung. But what came next made my blood boil. The next day, I get a call from my sister Rachel, who lives in another state. She was giggling. You won't believe what I just heard. Guess who called Aunt Brenda saying you're overwhelmed and always complaining about your husband?" I froze. No, it wasn't. Oh, but it was. Aunt Brenda said she got a very concerned phone call from Michael's mom. She said you're struggling to balance motherhood, the house, and your job. And that maybe, just maybe, it'd be good for you to spend some time away to clear your head. That's right. The classic well-meaning gossip. I was furious. Donna wasn't just trying to take over the house. She was turning my own family against me. And then came the breaking point. She touched my office. That space is sacred to me. It's where I work, create, think, breathe. But when I walked in that Monday morning, I found everything rearranged, papers out of order, supplies stored somewhere else, and a new plant right in the middle of my desk. "I thought this room could use some life," she said, smiling sweetly, like she had done me a favor. That was it. That was the moment I knew. She wasn't planning on leaving. She didn't feel like a guest. She felt like the owner. And if I didn't do something, soon I'd be the one treated like a tolerated visitor in my own home. Something inside me snapped, but not in a loud, angry way, No. It was a quiet kind of fire. If she wanted a battle for territory, well, it was time to show her who really ran this house. And I was going to start with grace, but also with power. If you're enjoying this story, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to support our work. That way, we can keep bringing you touching and emotional stories like this one that reach the heart and make you reflect. Thank you so much for being here with us. I didn't explode right away. I'm not that kind of woman. Instead, I waited, observed, and planned. If I was going to reclaim my home, it had to be done in a way that no one, not even Michael, could deny that I was right. That Monday, after Donna had refreshed my office, I calmly made my way into the kitchen, poured myself a coffee, and said sweetly, "Donna, I noticed you reorganized my workspace. Please don't do that again. That's where I work, and everything has a place for a reason." She blinked, almost surprised I'd said something. But then she smiled that smile. You know, the one that says, "You're being dramatic, dear." "Oh, Emily, I was only trying to help. You're just so overwhelmed lately, I figured a little order wouldn't hurt. That space was a bit chaotic." I just nodded. I didn't argue. I'd already decided this was a chess game, and I was going to win. But what really pushed everything into motion was the fofoca, the real one, the one that was never meant to reach me. It was Wednesday. Chloe had just gone down for a nap, and I was folding laundry in the living room when I heard a soft chime. My phone buzzed with a voice message. It was from my friend Jessica, who works at the local community center where I volunteer on weekends. Her voice was low and hesitant. "Hey, Em. I really didn't know if I should tell you this, but I thought you'd want to know. Donna came by the center today to donate a few things and, well, she was talking to some of the ladies there. She said she's worried about the kids, that they're not getting the care they need because you're too busy playing businesswoman. And, she hinted that maybe she should be the one making decisions for the household. I just thought you should hear it from me." My heart dropped. So now Donna was going out in public, tarnishing my name, making it sound like I wasn't fit to care for my own children. That was it. That was the moment I knew I couldn't wait for Michael to handle it or for Donna to find her own place. This wasn't a temporary visit. This was a takeover, and I wasn't going to stand for it. That night, after dinner, I put the kids to bed and asked Michael to meet me in the kitchen. He sat down, tired, with a cup of tea in hand. "Michael, I need to talk to you, seriously." He nodded. "What's wrong?" I didn't yell, I didn't cry. I just laid it all out. Everything. The comments, the meddling, the gossip she was spreading. I told him about Jessica's message, about my office, about the passive-aggressive digs, the judgment, the calls to my relatives. He listened, quietly. And then, after a long pause, he said, "I didn't realize it had gotten that bad." I took a deep breath. "Michael, I love you, and I respect your relationship with your mother. But this is our home, yours and mine. And I am not going to be treated like a guest anymore." He didn't argue. He didn't defend her. And for that, I was grateful. But what he said next surprised me. "You're right, but if we're going to talk to her, it needs to come from both of us, and we have to be clear. No more temporary. She needs to know it's time to make a plan to move out." I agreed. But deep down, I knew talking wouldn't be enough. The next morning, I woke up early. Earlier than usual. I made breakfast for everyone, Donna included. Pancakes, fresh fruit, the works, just like she liked to do. When she came down, surprised, she smiled wide. "Well, look at this. Emily's finally up early and cooking. How nice." I just smiled back. "Thought I'd give you a break. You've been so busy, organizing things. Michael sat quietly, reading the paper, watching the exchange like a spectator unsure if the match had begun. As we ate, I slid an envelope across the table toward her. She looked at it curiously. "What's this?" "A list of nearby apartments and rentals that are within your budget. I took the liberty of making a few calls yesterday. There are some really great options." She stared at the paper like it had teeth. "Are you asking me to leave?" I didn't flinch. "No, Donna. I'm telling you that you've overstayed. You're welcome. I know things have been hard for you, but this isn't working anymore. I need to feel safe and respected in my home. And right now, I don't." Michael placed his hand over mine, a quiet show of support. It was all I needed. Donna looked between us, stunned, and for once, she didn't have anything to say. I got up, cleared the table, and said with calm, steady words, "This is my house, my rules, and from now on, that's how it's going to be." For the first time since she stepped into our home, Donna was speechless. And I'll be honest, it felt strange. She had always been the type of woman who filled every silence with commentary, suggestions, or subtle jabs. But now, there was only quiet and the sound of my heart pounding in my chest. She got up from the table slowly, smoothed down her sweater, and gave Michael a long, unreadable look. Then she turned to me. "Well, I suppose I've become quite a burden." I stayed calm. "You've been part of our family, Donna, but this living arrangement, it's no longer healthy for anyone. I think you know that too, Didn't respond. Instead, she took the envelope, folded it neatly, and walked back to her room without another word. That day, the house felt different. Lighter. Like someone had finally opened a window and let fresh air in. But I knew better than to celebrate too soon. That evening, I received a text from my cousin Maya that sent my blood pressure right back, up. "Hey Em, I'm not sure what's going on over there, but your MIL just posted on Facebook that she's being pushed out of her only son's home by a woman who never appreciated the value of family. She didn't say your name, but it's not hard to guess." I opened the post and there it was, a vague but piercing message, already gathering sympathetic comments from her friends, many of whom were strangers to me. Some people just don't know how to treat their elders. "She's always been so generous. I can't believe she's being treated this way. I guess this is what happens when the daughter-in-law wants to control everything." It felt like a slap, not just to me, but to everything I had tried to handle with grace and dignity. I sat in silence, rereading the post. Then, I picked up my phone and called Michael. "I'm done being quiet," I said, my voice firm. He came home early that day, and together we sat down with Donna. I told her I had seen the post, and that if she truly wanted to be respected, she had to stop twisting the truth and poisoning relationships outside this house. She didn't deny it. She just sighed. I was upset, and maybe I overreacted. That was the closest I was ever going to get to an apology. And that was fine. I didn't need her to fall at my feet. I just needed boundaries. But then, something unexpected happened. 3 days later, while picking up Chloe from daycare, one of the mothers, Lauren, a woman I barely knew, approached me awkwardly. "Hey, Emily, weird question, but is everything okay at home? I mean, with your kids?" My heart stopped. "Why?" "Oh, nothing. It's just, well, Donna mentioned at the church gathering that she's worried, that your kids sometimes don't get enough attention with your busy schedule. I just thought, never mind. I'm sure everything's fine." There it was again. Another whisper. Another carefully placed seed of doubt. I smiled politely and walked to my car, holding Chloe tighter than usual. Inside, I was boiling. It wasn't just that Donna was talking behind my back. It was what she was saying, and to whom. She was choosing her audience well, Family, churchgoers, neighbors, people who didn't know me well enough to question her version of the story. And that's when I decided I wasn't going to defend myself through back channels anymore. If Donna wanted to turn this into a game of image, I would play it with truth. That night, I invited a few close family members over for dinner, people she had already been talking to. Michael helped me prepare everything. The table was beautiful, the food warm and comforting, and after dessert, I stood up. I just wanted to say something, since I know there's been some confusion about what's been going on in our home. Donna moved in during a difficult time, and we welcomed her with love. But after several months, the dynamic became unhealthy. Boundaries were crossed, gossip was spread, and I reached my limit. Asking for my space back was not cruelty. It was self-respect. There was silence. People looked at me, then at Donna. She sat straight, tight-lipped, not saying a word. I continued. Being a mother, a wife, and a working woman isn't easy. I don't do it perfectly, but I do it with love, and I won't let anyone paint me as something I'm not, especially in front of my children. That night, I saw something shift, not just in the room, but in me. I had reclaimed more than my house. I had reclaimed my voice. Donna didn't speak much after that. The next morning, she handed Michael a folded piece of paper, a lease agreement. She'd found an apartment not far away. She moved out within the week. But something tells me this wasn't the end of her plans. When Donna moved out, there was a strange quietness in the house. The kind of silence that feels heavy, like a storm has passed, but the sky is still deciding whether or not to clear. At first, I felt relief. The space felt like ours again. The kids were happier, lighter even. Chloe started sleeping through the night again, and Noah stopped asking why Grandma was always mad at Mommy. But that peace didn't last long. 3 days after her move, I was grocery shopping when Aunt Linda, Michael's aunt on his father's side, spotted me in the cereal aisle. She walked straight up to me with that look, half concerned, half ready to deliver drama. "Emily," she said, in that voice people use when pretending to care. "I just had lunch with Donna yesterday. She's still very hurt, poor thing. Said she felt tossed out like an old couch, after all she did for your family." I took a slow breath. "Linda, Donna was never tossed out. She was asked to respect boundaries. That's different. But Aunt Linda wasn't there to hear the truth. She was there for the show." "You know, family talks," she said, leaning in. "And, well, there's something going around that maybe you weren't exactly the devoted wife you make yourself out to be. Someone said they saw you having lunch with a man who wasn't Michael, holding hands." I blinked. My mouth fell open. My brain scrambled to catch up. "Excuse me? That never happened." She shrugged. "Just repeating what I heard. It's probably nothing." But I knew exactly what this was. Donna had escalated. It wasn't enough for her to call me lazy or say I was a bad mother. Now she wanted to tarnish me, discredit me, break the image I had spent years building, not just in our family, but in the community. And what hurt the most? It wasn't just the lie. It was how quickly people were willing to believe it. Or worse, how eager they seemed to be to pass it on. That night, I didn't sleep. I kept thinking about every friend who might have heard the story, every neighbor giving me polite smiles with hidden meanings. And then, I remembered something. A few weeks back, I had received a message from Jenna, a woman in Michael's office, asking if I was okay and if things at home were tense because of Donna. At the time, I had brushed it off, not wanting to air dirty laundry. But now I was curious, so I texted Jenna. "Hey, strange question, but did Donna ever visit the office or say anything about me to anyone there?" The reply came fast. Emily. Yes. She came by with lunch for Michael a few weeks ago. She chatted with a few people. Said you were overwhelmed, not supportive. Honestly, it felt weird. Michael didn't even seem to know she was coming. I sat there, stunned, She had been planting seeds in his workplace too? I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to be that woman who thought her mother-in-law was plotting behind her back like in some soap opera. But the signs were there. She wasn't just gossiping. She was campaigning. So I made a decision, one that went against every instinct I had to stay quiet and keep the peace. I called Susan, the coordinator of the church's annual fall fundraiser, a woman who knew everyone and everything. Susan, I said, I'd like to volunteer for this year's event. Planning, logistics, public speaking, whatever you need. She was thrilled, and over the next few weeks I made myself visible. Present. Not out of vanity, but out of necessity. I attended every planning session, helped organize bake sales, spoke kindly to every parent and grandparent I came across. I wanted people to know me, not the version Donna painted in whispers and twisted smiles. And then, something unexpected happened. One afternoon, as I was loading the car after a church meeting, Lauren, the same mother from daycare who had once questioned my parenting, came up to me again. But this time she was different. Her tone was gentle. Honest. Emily, I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. I believed things I shouldn't have. And after getting to know you these past weeks, I can see how wrong those stories were. You're kind and real. That means a lot. Her words didn't erase the pain, but they did something better. They restored a piece of me that Donna had tried to steal, and just when I thought I had finally gained solid ground, another twist arrived. Michael came home late one evening, holding a yellow envelope. This was dropped off at the front desk of my office, he said, handing it to me. Inside were printed screenshots, photos, snippets of my social media from years ago, comments taken out of context, pictures cropped to look suggestive, captions twisted into evidence. There was no sender, but the handwriting on the note attached was unmistakable. It was Donna's. I held that envelope in my hands, trying to steady my breathing. The photos weren't new. They were moments from my past. Group trips during college, birthday dinners, harmless selfies with friends. But taken out of context, cropped, paired, with the right malicious captions, they looked like something else entirely. It was an attempt to smear me. Again. And this time, it was calculated. The handwriting on the note inside was undeniably Donna's, a soft, cursive style she always used in holiday cards, thank you notes, and passive-aggressive to-do lists. It read, "Sometimes appearances say more than words. Think about the example being set for the children." Michael stood across from me, silent, watching my reaction carefully. He knew what this meant. This wasn't just gossip anymore. This was sabotage. "She wants to humiliate me," I said, my voice low. "To make you question me." He walked over, took the envelope from my hands, and tore it in half. "No one is going to make me doubt the woman I married. Not even my own mother." That was the moment I realized he finally saw it. All of it. Not just the whispers, or the comments, or the meddling, but the full scope of the manipulation. The attempt to poison our marriage from the inside out. Still, I couldn't let it end like that. Donna had crossed a line. And while I had tried to maintain grace, to protect appearances, there comes a point when silence becomes surrender. So I invited her to coffee. Neutral territory. A quiet cafe in town where no one would overhear or interrupt. She arrived 5 minutes late, wearing her signature pink lipstick and a cardigan that screamed, "Innocent matriarch." I smiled politely. She did the same. We made small talk. She complimented my earrings. I complimented her scarf. It was like two actresses performing a very calm scene, right before the climax. Then I placed a copy of the envelope on the table. Yes, I had made a photocopy. "Do you recognize this?" I asked. Her eyes flicked to the papers, then back to me. No emotion. "I can't say I do." "That's strange," I said. "Because the handwriting matches the note you left Michael last Christmas. I compared it, so unless someone is imitating your style perfectly..." She didn't reply. I leaned forward, calm but firm. "I've never disrespected you, Donna. I opened my home. I offered kindness. I bit my tongue more times than I can count. But this ends now." Still, no reaction, but I could see her fingers twitch slightly as they rested on her coffee cup. "You may not like me. That's okay. I'm not asking for your love. I'm asking for your respect. And if you can't give me that, then stay out of my life, out of my family's life, and especially out of my marriage." She finally spoke. "You think you've won, don't you?" "No," I said, smiling softly. "This was never a game. That's the difference between us." I stood up, placed a $20 bill on the table, and walked out. From that day on, Donna kept her distance. She didn't come to family dinners, didn't send passive-aggressive texts. And while she remained a presence in Michael's life, she was no longer a shadow in mine. And the most ironic part? Once the drama faded, once the house was calm again, the very people who once whispered about me began to come closer. I became more involved in the community. I launched a design project to help local women start small businesses from home. My reputation didn't just recover, it flourished. A few months later, at a neighborhood picnic, Lauren pulled me aside with a smirk. "Hey, remember when we all thought you were this controlling, uptight daughter-in-law?" I laughed. "How could I forget?" She lowered her voice. "Well, rumor is you gave Donna a taste of her own medicine. And between you and me, about time someone did. Turns out, gossip works both ways. And mine was finally working for me. Because yes, this is my house. And these are my rules. And if you come into my space with lies and chaos, you better be ready to be shown the door."